I'm Teresa Matich with Resource Investing News. I'm down at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. Speaking with me today is Darin Wagner, President, CEO, and Director at Balmoral Resources. Darin, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for having us over.
So you extended the strike length at your nickel Grasset property again. What's the potential looking like there now?
Well, it's it has grown so quickly. On each subsequent round of drilling, we've well more than doubled it. So just getting set to run the drills out. Literally, probably today it mobs onto site. So really, the potential's at this point it's hard to measure because it's grown so quick, and we don't see any indication of it stopping. So the truth machine is out on the property, and we'll be drilling all winter with 2 or 3 drills up there at Grasset. So it should be an exciting time, and we'll just see what Mother Nature's got in store and how far we can take this thing.
And how do you see nickel prices performing in 2015? And do you have any concerns about output from the Philippines?
Price one's a really good one to ask, because if you'd asked the copper guys about 3 or 4 weeks ago what they thought, you would have a far different answer than what it'd be today. I think you have to approach any metal price with a bit of caution in this kind of an environment. I don't know that it has a hugely significant impact on us to the downside for a ways here, because the grades are good, the zone's quite broad and it carries good grades, so it's not tremendously sensitive. It's probably got more sensitivity to the upside than to the downside. I would suspect we're probably in for a little bit more volatility than we might have thought we were 6 or 8 weeks ago, but I still think the fundamentals in the nickel space weigh in our favor, and if the Philippines want to ramp it up a little bit more, deplete a bit more of the lower grade mineralization that they've got, it's only going to play out in the long run well for groups like ourselves with higher grade assets in good places. When we look at the potential development timeline for this, it's not going into production tomorrow, so it doesn't really depend on the price today as much as it might depend on the price down the road a little bit.
Okay. And you're also still putting out results from your Detour Gold Trend property. So are there any challenges to that dual approach?
I think the only challenge in there, I think, we're still an exploration company, so we're still a growth company. And as long as both assets are growing and expanding, then I don't see any particular challenges. The only challenge you have is down the line a bit, because ultimately, if you're looking for partners or for sale of assets, really you're talking to two different groups of people. You're talking to base metal producers and gold producers, and those are 2 distinctly different groups. So that's a challenge we face maybe a little bit out from now as the assets grow and are ready to move to that stage. But in the short term, I think we can still create value for our shareholders, which is really our job, by expanding both, growing both, creating value in both. We're still in that kind of phase. Just means we talk a little bit out of 2 sides of the same hat.
Okay. And given Balmoral's success last year, what strategies do you think juniors can use to approach this current market?
Find something? No, I think a lot of our success was predicated at the end of the drill bit. And I guess if it's really hard when resources are scarce to get up the commitment and the nerve to go and drill that hole, because in this space you might miss. That's the reality. But if you don't drill the hole, you can't make a discovery, and it's only discoveries that are really driving things in this tough market environment. So, my advice is to shareholders and if you're not drilling, you're not finding, you're not creating value. So, if you're convinced about what you've got, take the big gulp and go drill the hole.
And what other junior mining companies are on your radar right now?
I think really it's very selective, and dominantly it's then predicated on that new discovery or that new opportunity. So I'm not, personally, I'm not deep into any of the producers at the moment. It's dominantly looking for new discovery stories as they emerge, and unfortunately there hasn't been a lot of those over the last year, because not a lot of companies are active. So I think right now for me it's really I'm looking, and I think I'm like a lot of people in the space, for that part of my portfolio, is I'm looking for those opportunities to emerge, and I'm keeping a very close eye on really anybody that's out there with a significant drill program starting up in the near future, because I think the market looks like over the next few weeks, months, it'll be permissive for companies to move on results. So I'm really looking at those companies that have announced programs or are getting set to start drilling. I think those are the places that you want to be, and over the next, at least over the short term, and then you've got to just see how those discoveries play out.
Okay, thanks for joining me, Darin.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
For Resource Investing News, I'm Teresa Matic.